In America, we have a right to gather and protest, and people are exercising that right in New York. In New York, 9 were arrested. Don't be surprised if this thing accelerates by the summer, because as long as Doge and President Trump justify in slashing jobs, people are going to be out there, and they're going to get frustrated, and they could percolate. And don't think that the powers don't know that. They're planning as we're sleeping. And I would not be surprised if it's then infiltrated, so then we can have chaos. Mark my word, it's all a plan, because the whole thing has been a lie. I did a video last night, a live video. Check out, I'll show you part of that in this feed. And I don't claim to be the best in analyzing the economy. What I'm telling you is that the American economy was surgically created to bring us to this point. We have no business being $36 trillion in a debt. The same ones that caused it are the same ones that tell you they want to fix it. I'm going to proceed. I'm going to build on this. Here's a gentleman who ran the third largest administration when it came down to Social Security. And he does now. His name is Dr. Ware. I'll put him in the link. What he's talking about is the job cuts and slash of Social Security, and how, guess what, it's going to affect. Okay, check it out.
The reports, we're looking at automatic cuts, 2033, 2034, anywhere from 21 to 22%. If the president gets some of the things he's talking about, no taxes on Social Security, no taxes on tips, no taxes on overtime, then that's going to put more of a stress on the Social Security Trust Fund, and those funds are going to end sooner. So if you say, I'm not going to touch Social Security, I'm not going to cut it, I'm not going to cut Medicare, then that's fine. Okay, that's a start of a good answer. But the good answer is, I'm not going to cut it, but I'm also going to make sure it doesn't get cut in the future. If you don't finish the sentence with that, you're just basically saying, I'm not going to burn it down, I'm going to watch it burn down. So we have to make sure we reach out to our politicians, and let me throw that up right now. This is how you do it. Reach out to your politicians and tell them, this is the senator's number, president's number, and tell them to make sure cuts don't happen right now. Tell them to staff the Social Security offices so you can actually get your benefits, because the current cuts, this is how this works, because it's essentially a blocking of access. They say, okay, your money.
People, Trump is setting us up. They're setting us up. They know that we need our money. They know it. No tax on tips. They should have been done that. Why have we been taxing Social Security? They should have been done that. We are desiring change, which makes sense because it brings more money to us, to our households, which we desperately need. They're doing this now because they're taking our will, because they know we need this money. But it's a setup, because they know within 5 to 10 years or less, the thing is going to implode. It's going to buckle under its own weight, because now you're cutting the money that was coming into the Security Trust Fund. That's what he's saying. Now, I'm not against the money coming in. Don't get me wrong, because I'm a senior citizen. What I'm saying is that they're doing it now, and you get an impression that they care about you. No, they really don't. If they cared about you, they would have restructured the way they do the economy decades ago, generations ago, so we would have never gotten to this point. Understand the setup. They're setting us up. They're setting it up.
Or they block access to those benefits. So those are the cuts that are going to be happening over the next several months, is Sure, the money is there. The trust fund is not being touched. It obviously is being reduced every year because, checks are going out and they're taking money out of the trust fund. But you're blocked to get access to them, because if you want to go ahead and file for retirement benefits, yeah, good luck with that. There's nobody at the Social Security Administration like, well, I can just go ahead and file it online. Yes, when you file it online, guess what? Somebody on the other side actually has to look at that claim and confirm your earnings record and check to make sure, if you listed any spouses, that those spouses are protected. If they're entitled to any benefits, might have to check your legal status in the United States, might have to check your birth certificate. So there's an actual human being that has to do that. Not sure AI can do that yet, maybe in the future, but right now there's an actual human being. Spouse benefits, same type of situation. You can do that online, but somebody has to look at it from the other side. Disability application, that is definitely not gonna be anything that's...
What he's speaking on is that if there are cuts to Social Security in terms of the administrative part, good luck on reaching a person to set up your claim. Good luck on if you try to file it online, someone still has to look at it and analyze it and go through all the A to Z to get you started. So to say I'm going to cut to save money so we can save America, basically is what Elon's saying. But by the same token, how are you going to get your money if there's nobody there to do the processing? That's what this gentleman is saying. They have put us in a quagmire. They set us up. So we got a bad future coming if we look, people, it's even at a point you got to realize, and I'm going to show you the video. Now they're promising $5,000 checks, which everybody's going to take. I'll take mine. But the bottom line is, it's a setup. It's a setup, people. If you're going to give every American who's paid into the system $5,000 and you don't have enough money coming in, then guess what? The system will implode in a few years. It speeds up the process. We got to change how we do the money. That's why I'm saying, how can you justify giving Elon Musk $8 million a day? I don't know the math in terms of how many people which were fired over the last month, but $8 million a day, I'm sure that could take care of at least 3 months worth of payroll for the people who got fired. Do you understand what I'm saying? People, we're getting set up. Now, Mark Cuban is trying to set something up. Don't know if I can pull this up. Mark Cuban, the billionaire or millionaire, he offers to help laid off federal tech workers. This just came out today. Billionaire Mark Cuban has joined the conversation about the recently laid off tech workers, posting a message of support to those affected. According to his post on social media, Cuban offered words of support and hinted that he could be open to helping them. His message, which has since become a talking point among users and on and outside the platform, urged the displaced tech engineers and designers to turn their situation around. He also offered to help or invest in any venture that they may have in the future. Quote, if you worked for 18F and got fired, group together to start a consulting company, unquote, wrote Cuban. It's just a matter of time before Doge needs you to fix the mess they inevitably created. They will have to hire your company as a contractor to fix it, but on your terms. I'm happy to invest and or help, Cuban said. And I've been saying this for a few weeks now. You guys know my videos. We do need these millionaires to get involved in some way, form, or fashion. I pray that he goes through with this, because these people are going to need to get back on their feet financially somehow. But I still don't like that they're government related, because slashes are slashes. You get dependent upon them, and guess what? They could cut you off at the knees. Now, check this out. This is one of the guys that I learned from way back in the day. His name is Wayne Jett. Wayne Jett. Wayne Jett has done a scholarly work. His book is called Fruits of Graft. Fruits of Graft. I've got to try to contact him to see if he will let me interview him. I've known about this guy for a long time. He has done his own research to prove in his mind that the Depression and all these recessions have been caused. There is a hidden hand out here that doesn't care about the government, they don't care about you, and they made a plan back in the 1900s to get rid of the middle class. And they are patient, and that's what they're doing. I'm gonna show you this, check it out.
Possible. The Great Depression was imposed upon the people of America by operatives in the United States government, including our elected presidents, and imposed on the rest of the world as well. There's evidence not only from our own country, but also from other parts of the world during that period of time that that in my estimation, proved that it was an intended effect, that it was an imposed famine designed to certainly to smash the middle class, to destroy it to the maximum extent possible, and to starve as many people to death as possible while doing it. And so let me start with how the Great Depression got started. Bernanke and others blame it on what happened during the 1920s, that there was Fed misconduct, that bad monetary policy, that there was inflation during the 70s, too much money, there was not enough money in the Great Depression and so forth. That was really only a shadow background. But the Fed...
Yeah. Now here's another interview he had with here, James Neely. James, this is the first show I learned about it years ago. James Neely. I featured Mr. Graff years ago on my last channel, French Shot Pearson. Check it out. Here's the book, Fruits of Graff.
Was actually laying out the declaration to the insiders of the ruling elite that our plan is that we must act now to destroy the middle class entirely. All of the people who are able to support themselves by their own productivity at whatever level, whether they're very successful or whether they're just barely supporting themselves, we want them all gone because they've got a hold of this idea of so-called democracy or Republican voting, that they really have the right to elect their own politicians and leaders. We can't put up with it anymore. We've got to go back now to the two-class system of rulers and those who serve us. And that's our full intent, and we're going to do it. We have to develop as quickly as we can the means of doing it. They laid out a number of the parts of their apparatus, a deep state or a shadow government behind the national government of every government in the world.
So they use the same strategy no matter what country it was, to have a shallow government, to heavily influence or take over that government because people believe in some type of democracy where they can vote, especially economically, so we can have our country go on a certain course, having it economically feasible and a healthy economy so we can all have a part of this apple pie and American dream. This is why I've been saying the thing has been taken over and they spent the money like a drunken sailor creating debt. Meanwhile, we built all these businesses. I'm gonna get into it. Just hold tight. Will Doge send American stimulus checks? Check it out.
And I'm no AI expert, but I just checked on Grok. I just asked a question. Would giving these checks possibly lead to more inflation? And Grok says yes. What do you say?
I say no, and here's why, Dana. The first reason is that our economy is in much better shape the last time stimulus checks were indiscriminately sent out by President Biden. We had a massive labor shortage, supply chain dislocations, and they were sent out to everybody, not just taxpayers. The second reason is that this money is coming from direct savings. So remember, for every $5 that Doge saves, $1 goes back to hardworking taxpayers. And a poll from 2019 CNBC found that 70% of Americans would use this type of check to pay down debt, which is the opposite of inflationary. It's deflationary. So this is good policy.
So
it's good economics.
That's going to be my last question. Do you think that if somebody does ultimately get this check, if they have credit card debt, they should use that extra money that they found, the savings, the money they weren't expecting to get back?
So yeah, use it to pay off bills is what you're saying. Doge could send 20% savings to the taxpayer. They're talking about giving us $5,000 checks. And again, we're going to take it. But again, if you don't have enough money coming in, guess what? Social Security and everything else will implode over time. It's a sale with your own demise. And it's being spearheaded by Elon Musk without government oversight. Now, let me just play my video from last night. It's called Trump Balloon. It's a live video. This is my take. I'm not 100% in terms of showing every nook and cranny of how we came to our problem. I'm just got some things off my chest last night to let you know. This thing is historic, and they set us up. They set up this generation so they can justify going in cutting the jobs. Okay, check it out.
Use your head. Your neighbor just lost his job. Have a heart. That is the way you make America great. Just because they told you it was waste, fraud, and abuse. Did you see the records?
You've worked hard to build your expertise.
All right, commercial. Let's go back.
Everything they show you, believe in them? You don't believe anything they say because it wasn't set up right. It wasn't done right. They told you at the last minute what they was going to do, and it was set up by Obama. How you going to trust him? He never done nothing for black people. And then you got a Congress that got to have a meeting about it. All you content creators, y'all act like y'all uneducated. All you content creators act like y'all uneducated, like y'all can't even think. Are you a content creator? You're supposed to be responsible. Dig into this information and stop being on this content thing just for views. We talking about a country. We talking about people's lives. You got people that got a house, can't pay their mortgage now. Because they got a promissory note. And you out here making all this money because all you doing is doing Trump videos all day. I wish I could make $2,000-$3,000 a day. I would go find the people who lost their job and help them. This is what we're supposed to do. We want to make America great. Then damn it, we need to act like we great first. Y'all don't know. I got my mama's spirit. I just don't like the way it's going. And I see it for what it is. And I hate a liar. And right now they're lying to us. Because I told y'all they created this economic problem. And every time they create an economic problem, they come out on the good end and we don't. They create the crisis. Whoever heard us of making a country in debt, lying to generations of people, and now you made all these businesses with a fake. I want you to really get it because I'm about to leave in a couple minutes. All these businesses that were made on a fake economy because the government never told you that one day we were going to have to pay it back. All these investments that we made. All these homes that we bought. All the college tuition debt that we made. Some people went and made college, they spent $60, $80, $100, $200,000 debt on college. And then they went and worked a government job. And now they out of a job because they believe in the dream. But you knew down the road it was going to get to $36 trillion, and now you take their job. That is not right. They got these numbers. They've been known we was going to come to this point. They've been known that. I'm telling you the truth. If you can get any retired politician to tell you, they're going to tell you this thing. It was a lie. It was a setup. They set the country up to fail. So one day they could do what they're doing today because they knew they were planning a new world order. You see my receipts. That's why I can talk like this. I know they've been planning a new world order since the 70s, probably long before that. The way to make the new world order, the way to make the new world order work in America, you gotta crucify it. And the best way to crucify America is to put him on his economic knees. And that's what they did. It was a setup. And they're not gonna tell you, but I'm telling you, read the American history, how the economics was set up. They deliberately put us in debt so they can now crucify the country and put you in debt and put you out of a job. It was all done deliberate. And instead of fighting for you to keep you out of debt, to sustain you, they let this thing happen. Papa George Bush, Clinton, they created NAFTA, they sent your factories overseas, and they made you a service economy. You read any history, no country can sustain itself on a service economy. You have to make things. Well, Pearson, that's why Trump said he wants to make America great again. He wants to make things. It's a lie. He knows you can't make it great again. I've done videos. How many videos have I been done? I'm probably the only YouTuber that's done it recently to show you. Over 40% of America is owned by other countries. You can't make great, damn it, what you don't own. Comprende? Comprende? You can't make great what the hell you don't own.
I want to buy your house.
All you can do is engage and negotiate. That's all you can do because your leverage is done. In Chicago, we don't own some of the bridges. In Chicago, we don't own some of the parking meters. In Chicago, we don't own some of the buildings. How you gonna make anything great that you don't own? And I told people that for the first time on a video 2 years ago. They thought I was crazy. So I had to make long videos to show them what we don't.
The money leaves and goes to other foreign countries and goes to other foreign banks, and it's in their hands and they're propping up their countries. That's what it's coming down to. Thank Clinton and thank Papa Bush for that. That's only part of the problem.
Don't own. Didn't you let China come over here and buy up our farms? And then some of their farms are next to our military places? Are you sick? But the media is not asking Donald Trump those questions. I'm telling you the truth because I love you. Right? The manufacturer's not coming back. You can't.
And we build them. I watched numerous plane videos back in the day where you had men and women flying overseas, setting up the infrastructure for their business over there to do business with China and other foreign lands. And they got the best end of the deal. And they deliberately made those countries part of the international order. And now, like I said in the video the other day, China has got a lot of ghost cities now. We're all in the economic fix. All of us have been put in a snare on purpose. The whole world.
You can't make great what you don't own. That's just simple economics. They created the $36 trillion. Anytime you make stuff, you don't have leverage.
You do.
Tariffs alone don't do it. You have to own it so you can dictate your economic future and your growth. That's how America was built. When you got rid of the factories, you made your debt. Do you understand? You made your debt. And instead of telling us the truth, they allowed us to build what? Service jobs. McDonald's everywhere. Popeyes everywhere. Churches everywhere. Convenience stores everywhere.
And then bringing in Amazon, so that now they have a monopoly. Where in the 30s, 1930s, the government said we can't have monopolies. But now we have monopolies, and it's putting all the mom and pops out of business. Do you see the dilemma they put us in? They won't let America run the way it used to run.
The big giant malls, you remember that? The 70s and 80s? All the big malls they had us make? And now, it's hard to find a mall. Right? It was a setup. I want you to see it. It was blown up on a fake economy. Those were service jobs. Everywhere you went. It was a sports store, a place to eat, a restaurant. That's all you had. We weren't building enough stuff to sustain our economy. So every year we were going in debt. Now we're at 36 trillion. Now they want to tell you, I want to take your job from you. Why did you lie to me with a false economy and build up a false economy so that in the future you could take it? Because this is how it works. Every time you have these service businesses out here, guess what? It's more to monitor by the government. So now, as our economy got bigger based on service and less making things, what happens? Now you have a big government like Social Security. So that's how all the jobs got out there in government. Do you understand the connection? The more people working, the more government you need. The more people on doing this, the more government you need. We're connected, people. We're connected. And so now that the economy is falling, because we had been in a recession way before Joe Biden got here. They've been lying to us. It was maybe 5 or 10 stores closing at a time. Now you got 50 to 200 stores closing at a time. Am I right? That means the wheels have fallen off the damn wagon. This is why they're cutting the job. Oh, I'm so glad I broke it down. Do you understand now? Please answer me. They never told you the truth about how your economy was built from the beginning. And they're not telling you at the end, is what I'm telling you. They're telling you that it's waste, fraud, and abuse. I'm telling you it's more than just waste, fraud, and abuse. What I'm telling you is that the damn economy has imploded because it was a lie. And because we don't have the money flowing in America, they can no longer sustain the government. So now they got a justified reason for putting them out of a job. I hope I'm making sense. I hope I'm making sense to y'all. They've been lying to us for decades. It's been a damn lie, y'all. Share the last 10 minutes of this video. They will tell you what I'm talking about. They built the whole thing up.
Along with the Federal Reserve, tinkering with the interest rate, going up and going down to quote unquote stabilize it, which was a lie. You can't stabilize debt because we couldn't pay the interest on the debt. And that's been going on for decades as well. They never told us the truth, but we kept building. We just kept building, and at the same time, we kept sending money overseas. When you put it all together and then giving all the discounts to these big companies, and they're not paying their fair share. Like I said, I don't claim to know everything. I'm just giving you a synopsis of how we got to this problem, because they knew one day payday would have to come. So now they got Elon Musk and Trump out there saying, what? We got to slash it. But they're slashing it in relation to the lie that they built from the beginning. And yes, there is a hidden hand that created the problem that we're in. We're just the generation that's seeing it.
They built the whole thing up. The whole thing was been a lie. And this is not the only country they did it to. They did it to other countries too. And what they did, they had the World Bank. That's what they did to Africa, y'all. The countries overseas, when they got in trouble, the World Bank, here, take a few $1 million. You'll be all right. You can pay me back. Then Africa got in trouble again. They give them a couple of more $1 million. And before you know it, the government owns these countries. Venezuela too, that's right. The biggest resource that America ever had was us. The biggest resource that Venezuela had was oil. Do you understand? The way to topple a country is to take away its biggest resource. And that's what they have been doing for decades. The biggest resource we ever had was our businesses and us.
And oil too, and our energy. And yes, you can make the argument and say, well, Donald Trump's going to fix that. He's not going to fix it. He's going to implode the economy by just giving all this money out, which we sorely need, like I said. But you got to keep in perspective. It's another head fake on a basketball game so they can score. Understand the connection. Now I'm going to end with this. How many American farmers have filed bankruptcy? In 2024, 216 farmers filed Chapter 13, a 55% increase from 2023. According to the U.S. count, this marks the end. And go back and check what Biden did. He didn't help, especially the black farmers. So check this out. And I did a video on this about a year ago. They know the numbers. They know the numbers. Black farmers are in debt. Black farmers are in debt, big time. Report shows black farmers lost $326 billion worth of land. Look at that, 2022, and this is a serious number. We can't even feed ourselves, and don't think about the racial component because food don't have no colors. My name is Trendshot Pearson. I will put some of these videos in the description. We have been set up. They deliberately caused this crisis, and like I said, this gentleman here, he's a wizard. I will put his information in the description. God bless.